Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crushing Land podcast. Happy that you're here to join us today. If you're joining us live, great on Facebook or on YouTube. If not, and you're watching this later or listening to on the podcast, welcome as well. Got some great information to share with you today. What we're going to talk about today, it applies to all of us in our land businesses, but it really applies to just business in general. A lot of these concepts obviously overlap to different businesses and everything that we do because it's just fundamental things that you need to do in life, fundamental things that you need to do to be successful, to be an entrepreneur, to run your own business, all of that stuff. So whether or not you're in land yet or not, or you're just listening to this from business standpoint or whatever it may be, this is information that is relevant to you and something that you need to do. And so as we're recording this, there's only a couple of days left in the year 2021. And so at this point, a lot of people are starting to look forward and they are saying, well, what am I going to do next year? What are my goals? What am I going to accomplish? And that's great. That is something that we need to all do, and we need to do it regularly. But the problem is it's not something that's like kind of one and done. So many people like jump in at one time a year and they're like, what am I going to do? And they make this list and they go nuts with it, and they go nuts with it for a few weeks or maybe a few months. And then they kind of wane off and then it's done. And that's true in all aspects of life. It's not just true in business, but it also applies in business, and even more so sometimes in business, because you just kind of give up. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about that a little bit on realistic goal setting. But the first thing we're going to talk about is not making excuses, because that is a huge thing that I see. And if this hits some of you like smack between the eyes, I apologize, but I don't. I apologize if if you take it a little bit and you sit there and you're like, oh, that's harsh. But at the same time, it's like, I don't apologize because nobody's to blame but you. If you are making excuses and you're not doing things. I know people that I have seen that have been involved or been around land investing or real estate investing for years now, and they still haven't done a deal yet. And and they'll say, well, I'm trying. They're not really trying. That's the problem. They come up with excuses. Well, I had to do this and this came up. I mailed some letters, but then they stop. Oh, I'm going to mail another. And then they stop. And you're not working. You're not setting things up. You're not setting yourself up for success. And part of that, I said you have nobody to blame but yourself. That's not actually 100% accurate, because there's that mentality out there. There's those thoughts out there. There's those people out there that teach that all you need to do is do this and this and this, and you're going to have money coming in. We all have heard those things. It's a bunch of nonsense. And those are scam artists. You're looking to build a business, right? And is it possible that you're going to, mail a few hundred letters and you're going to get a phenomenal deal off of that, and you're going to go nuts and it's going to be great and all that? Absolutely. It is possible. But is it likely? No. It's very, very, very few people that have that success and have that come up. And honestly, I'd rather that you didn't have that, because people that have that think that that's the way it's going to be all the time. And that's not the way it is. That's not the way business is. Regardless of where you are in business, you're going to hit roadblocks, you're going to hit hurdles, you're going to hit huge things that get in your way. Some are going to be small, and you're going to always have to come around them. And you can't be making excuses and thinking like, oh, this was supposed to be easy. If it was supposed to be as easy as other people make it out to be, everybody would do it. That's the bottom line, right? That's what would happen. There's a reason that not everybody is cut out for this, and not everybody is doing it, and not everybody has that mindset. So you need to develop that mindset. You need to really work at getting out of your own head and plowing ahead despite things, right? And if you hit these roadblocks, if you hit these hurdles, if you hit these different things, then you need to keep moving past them. And that's where the goal setting part comes in. Now, let's go back to excuses for a minute. So there are things in life that do come up, right? They do come up and they do derail us. But the key is getting back on track. If you have a major event in your life, you get sick, somebody close to you gets sick, somebody passes away, you move, there's a lot of different things that can change, a birth, things like that, where you get derailed for a little bit of time, or your attention gets put somewhere else for a little bit of time. But the key is you're moving it back, right? And getting refocused. And so you may sit there and say, well, these things came up. Yeah, they do. But if you've been doing this for years and that came up, then it may affect you for a month or two or three or whatever, but you need to move back over. And so many people don't do that. They always are kind of like have a line of excuses as to why they're not doing things. So you need to overcome that. And then from there, it's about that goal setting, right? You need to be setting goals and you need to be doing them regularly. And you need to set goals that are attainable. That's the key. If you want to set up a business, you need to set up goals that are going to be reachable in order to get to that business. But you also need to set up goals that you can do right now. If you have limited income and limited funds and you're working on these things and you say, I'm going to mail 2,000 pieces a week so that I can get a bunch, and you don't have the money to support it, then no, you're setting yourself up for failure right out of the beginning, right out of the gate. And what's going to happen? You might mail 1 week. You might not get any deals from those 2,000 letters. You may not, there's no guarantees. And because of that, you're sit there and you say, oh, this isn't working. You can't do that if that's not where you're at. Now, that's a great goal to have for down the road as you're getting a business going. But if you're in a situation right now where you can only mail a few hundred pieces each and every week, then set a goal of mailing a few hundred pieces each and every week. And that's where you grow from there. Get that first deal done. Set a goal of getting that first deal done, even if it's a smaller amount. You get a property under contract for $5,000 that's worth 15. Sell it for 10, make a quick $5,000. Sell it for 9, make a quick, $4,000 in profit. Move on to the next thing. Get some confidence and go from there. And then at that point, that's where I talked about not setting goals once a year. Set your next realistic goal. Continue to grow, continue to move forward. When we started in this business, we were doing limited amounts because that's what we could afford. We kept growing it each and every week, not each and every week. But we kept growing it every chance that we got, and we brought our numbers up each and every week. Well, bringing up numbers on the front end each and every week translated into more deals on the back end, more income being produced because of that, more experience, more knowledge, all of those things that come with it. So again, when it comes to your goals there, you need to write them down and have them next to you and make sure that you set attainable goals, but then revisit them. That's a big problem that a lot of people don't do. They don't revisit them. We see people that we talked about, the ones that that have been around for years and haven't done anything. We also have the ones that have been around for years that are kind of just stayed at this level. They never did this. Why is that the case? Well, rather simply, it's because they never went back and reevaluated. Now, some people are content. They only wanted to hit a certain threshold. They're older or they're in other situations and they're like, hey, I just want to create this. And they're happy. And that's fine. If that's your max, if that's your ceiling and that's your top goal, then great. But if it's not, if you're sitting there, then you need to go back and you need to reevaluate. You're sitting there and you're like, oh man, I want to do 10 deals this year. And then you do 10 deals and you don't look at it again. And 5 years later, you're still doing 10 deals a year. Why? You're holding yourself back. So you need to sit there and you need to continue to look at these things and make goals. That's why we tell people right from the beginning, make goals for now and make goals for the future. The ones for right now are the attainable goals. The ones for the future are the ones that currently are not attainable, but can be attainable as you do more things. So that's something to do each and every day. First, get out of your own head. Stop making excuses. If you've been around this for years and you're still looking for your first deal, and what are you doing wrong? You're doing something wrong. It's not about the mailing. It's not, if you've been doing it, it's about your mindset. You need to figure that out. You need to see what's going on with you and where you need help and things like that. And if you overcome that and you are at that low flying level, what do you need to do to bring it to the next level? Or if you have brought it up to next levels, what do you need to go beyond that? Because at some point, what happens is we kind of think we've hit our threshold and we're not willing to go any further. And the bottom line is we still have the ability to do that if you so desire. So key point for this, again, because a lot of people are thinking about this right now, think about these excuses or these things that are getting in your mind and get them out of the way. Train your mindset, figure out what that is, set these goals that are attainable right now and hit those marks. And then as you're hitting those marks, whether it be in a week or 2 or a month or 3 months or 6 months or whatever it is, but it really shouldn't be much longer than that, be looking at your next level of goals that are up and how you're going to go beyond that. So something to think about. We hope you guys all have a great 2022. We want you to make it your best year in business thus far. And obviously next year we'll be saying make 2023 your best year and keep doing that each and every year. So we'll catch you all again next week. We thank you for joining us. And again, make 2022 an amazing year in business. There's so much opportunity out there, whether or not you're investing in land or other real estate or other things. There's so much opportunity out there right now. It's a matter of taking advantage of it. So set those goals, stop making excuses, and have a phenomenal year.